Welcome back to another episode of Cable Chatter. Today, with us is the Randolph Eastern School Corporation Director of Grant Management and STEM Integration, Neal Adams. He's been able to acquire some really exciting grant opportunities for Randolph Eastern that's going to change what we do and what happens here for years to come, and I wanted to get him on the show to tell everyone about it and what that's going to look like for us moving forward. It's really exciting. But first, we've got some community announcements. Thursday through Saturday, June 9th through 11th, is the Parker City Homecoming Fair. This will include a town-wide rummage sale from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. each day. On Friday, June 10th, the Goodrich Park Free Concert Series will be hosting the Flying Toasters from 8 to 10 p.m. This is across from the Winchester Community High School, and food trucks are scheduled. On Saturday, June 11th, the Union City Lions Club will be serving the Randolph County Fly-In Breakfast at the Randolph County Airport. That's on US 32 East in Winchester from 6 a.m. to noon. It's going to be an exciting morning at the airport. There'll be great breakfast. You'll get a chance to watch all the planes. There's really neat planes that come in and get some plane rides. So if you have time in the morning, come out and enjoy that day with us. Also, on the 11th, the Art Association of Randolph County at the Arts Depot in Union City will be hosting an open house and open studio from noon to 4 p.m. That same day, the Saratoga Lions Club will have a chicken dinner from 4 to 7:30 p.m. Check out their Facebook page for more details. That evening at Artisan Park, the concert series will be hosting Little Joe, that's in Union City, from 7 to 10 p.m., and food trucks are scheduled. On Thursday, June 16th, the Randolph County Child Care Coalition will be hosting a free workshop on preventing child abuse. This will be at the Abundant Life Church on East Elm Street in Winchester. Pizza and networking will be at 5:30 p.m., and training begins at 6 p.m. If you can't make that event and are interested, they'll be hosting it again on Saturday, June 18th. And that is the Preventing Child Abuse Workshop, and that's at the Abundant Life Church on East Elm Street in Winchester. Donuts and networking will begin at 9 a.m. and the training will begin at 9:30. Any questions or for more details, visit the Randolph County United Facebook page for more information. If you have any events or things you want us to advertise here on Cable Chatter, make sure the word gets out. Just reach out to us on our Facebook page. And I urge you this summer, with all the exciting things that are going to be going on in Randolph County, to check the Randolph County United Facebook page, our Facebook page, but just to get on social media and look around for all the unique events that will be going on in Randolph County. I'm sure there'll be lots of things to do, lots of concerts, and just a lot of fun to be had this summer. And from here, we'll go to Neal Adams and see what's going on here at Randolph Eastern. I'm here with Neal Adams, Director of STEM Integration and Grant Management here at Randolph Eastern School Corporation. He's been in this role for a little less than a year, but we've had a lot of neat things coming out of his office, and he's managed to get his hands on some grant funds that are going to do some really neat stuff for Randolph Eastern. But I'm going to let him tell you about that, as well tell you a little bit about himself. Neal, welcome to Cable Chatter.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I grew up in Union County. I graduated in 1988, which I believe is about 34 years ago. Time goes pretty quick.
Yep.
From there, I went to Purdue University, majored in agriculture education. I thought I'd be a teacher forever and do FFA stuff, but it just didn't happen that way. I guess my inquisitiveness and wanting to do more for kids and get involved eventually led me to go to Corden Central, and then I came back to Fountain City at Northeastern for 14 years. Finished up there, the last 5 as athletic director, and then a position here come open as assistant principal. So I pursued that, and then when Mr. Black took the superintendent's job, I slid over to the principal's job for about 2.5, 3 years. And then last, I guess it was October, November, I moved into the role of Director of Grant Management and STEM Integration, and continue to find ways to help kids. And it's been fun. I'm still enjoying what I'm doing, and we're going to keep plugging away.
Good, and that's the important part. You know, it's that you still enjoy what you're up to.
Yeah.
So, in the school world, we have our own almost our own language. There's
Yes.
our own abbreviations. There's all this other stuff, but the word STEM gets thrown around
Yes.
a lot. So what? For those people at home and that aren't stuck in the educational bubble that we're in, what is STEM?
the letters stand for science, technology, engineering, and math. And some people even label in their STEAM, and they add the arts to it as well,
Okay.
which I think is important because I think arts has an important place in the students that aren't naturally gifted at other things. They're gifted at art. So I think STEAM, most of the funding is around STEM, but I think we can throw in there STEAM as well.
So you know, we've done a lot with various different STEAM initiatives, and so as far as grant funding, I know you've got a decent list that all really focus around STEM. So what's coming down the pipe here?
We just was one of 27 schools that got a STEM acceleration grant this go around. We awarded that, I guess it was in January, February, one of 27 schools for $25,000. That'll help us pre-K through 12th grade, integrate more science and technology, help educate our staff on how to implement that project-based, hands-on initiatives that kids, I think, thoroughly enjoy. Technology is obviously changing. I mean, it's at a record pace. Whatever we have today, maybe in 3 weeks will be changing again. So as you know, as the tech director, that just kind of goes and goes and goes, and it's never-ending beast. So having this money available to provide that technology and those resources to our staff is huge. We'll be able to get some Ozo bots for K through 6 to do some programming, which I think kids really love, how to program and code and get the robots to move to certain places. And with all the technology going into cars and farming equipment, that's something our kids are going to have to be able to deal with. So providing that opportunity is huge. Yeah.
Absolutely, and it's with the with the integration of technology in lots of different avenues, like you said, agriculture, cars, or whatever. That understanding of computer science. I mean, that's what I'm teaching as well in the high school. Understanding of that computer science, how things work, is huge, and we're pushing that all the way down to the kindergarten level at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know that's a big push for the state as well as computer science and stuff and that sort of thing. So what other grants do we have that are kind of pushing that envelope?
We just got a $50,000, I think it was in March, we were awarded for digital learning, and that's to bring in those hybrid classes where part-time when they're in the classroom, part they're learning digitally. I think the state's pushing out more and the federal government's pushing out more money based on the past COVID issues that teachers need to be able to live in a digital world. Now we obviously know that face-to-face is preferable. I think we build that relationship better, but students are going to have to go out in the world of work and be able to learn digitally as well, because I think businesses are transforming some of their meetings where they fly everybody to doing it via Zoom. We all get tired of Zoom, but I don't think that's going to go away. It may be a split or a hybrid. So having our teachers trained and being able to provide some digital content, that $50,000 will be able to go in there K through 12 and provide lessons and activities that our students will be able to learn and learn their way, more than just we're going to teach everyone the same way. It's shifting to how can we best serve each kid.
And am I right in saying we did a little bit of that this year? We did some hybrid classes, and I think we had with some students that were doing, was it government or econ or?
I believe it was government.
And in kind of a 0 hour, so they were able to open their schedule up and be able to do more things.
Yeah, there was a hybrid class where they still met with Mr. Jones, kind of piloted that this year. We kind of took that on where they could take it and pretty much do it any time of the day they wanted to, here at school or in the evening or in the morning. And then that opened them up to take Apache or an ag class or TP or business class or maybe a computer science class that they normally wouldn't get to do. So it gives them more freedom to take more CTE classes or technology classes that they couldn't fit in a traditional 7-period day.
That's excellent. So what else we got?
We did get an NMAC grant, which is through Purdue University, that they deal with advanced manufacturing.
Okay.
That went to the elementary this year. The past couple years we got it at the high school. That went to the elementary, and they got some robots and some VEX kits, and a couple of the kids, they really loved it because the one first grader was able to program, and they kind of had a mission to the Mars or whatever and have the robot move around on a Mars type platform. So they were thrilled about that. So to see those type of things going on. The elementary, it's not a grant, but a good thing. And we've probably been out there, some people may be aware, but we were STEM certified, where it's about 110 schools in Indiana out of the 400 and some corporations that are, and there's like 2,000 schools. So being one of the 110 that are STEM certified, K through 6 is huge. I mean, it shows that we're being innovative, we're providing technology and science to our kids to help them prepare for their future careers.
And I know I remember kind of being part of the process of getting STEM certified, and there was a lot of work that went in to proving to the state, doing this application or this almost portfolio. And I know you did a lot of work on it just to kind of make sure that we could show we are doing these things. And so there was a lot of evidence. This isn't just a this isn't just a rubber stamp or here's your ribbon. We did a lot of work to make sure to prove and show what we are doing.
Yeah, it's basically, it was almost a year-long process. We started at this time last year, and the first application or the due date was in December. They come back with, you need to do a few more things in January, and then they had a site visit in, I want to say, middle of March. They came to us, but it's not just teach PLTW or Project Lead the Way classes or just teach science classes. You got to document what's been your planning process from day one to your end product. It just can't be throw it out there. You got to have thought. How are you going to sustain it? How are you going to keep building it? How are you going to keep proving it? And are you staying current with the times and training your staff? So it's a big deal. It shows that we are being thoughtful, that we're providing high-powered, engaging lessons to our students that have a lot of science and technology involved. Like I said, one of 100 schools in the state, and if you look on the map, if you pull that up, if you go to the DOE and pull up STEM certified schools, there's not many in this pocket of East Central Indiana. We're one of the very few, so we're doing something right.
I would agree, and I know I've both been here for a little while and been involved in the STEM piece, and so I know our teachers are working really hard. I mean, that kind of we've mentioned PLTW or Project Lead the Way, and for those at home, again, we're in this education bubble. What is Project Lead the Way?
It's more of a STEM approach, or providing those hands-on, activity-based, problem-based lessons. It's not just simply get up there as a teacher and you lecture and then 2 weeks from now you test on what you were lectured over or read in the book. You're giving the student a problem. One of the problems is, I know they're giving us, like a student has a broken foot or something, what can you do to help give the student the most mobility? So they have to build a K.I.S.S per se, and it's practical. What's going to be the best function for that? I think you teach cybersecurity, and they go through, if you're hacked or you get this security breach, what are the steps you're going to do to fix it or prevent it in the future? And then we got an engineering class at the high school that they have to go. One of the things I know they do is do some reverse engineering. They take apart, how can you make this part better or this whole apparatus better? And they get to draw all those different pieces.
Yeah, because it really grabs the you do this the education piece, and they talk about careers, and then it grabs there's a problem, there's an issue, and gives the students the opportunity and flexibility to try and solve this problem. I know third grade they've got to use simple machines and move a tiger from one place to another, not a real tiger, but and so it really kind of tries to bridge the gap between the education, the technology piece, and the real world piece. And I think that's what we're seeing a lot of push from the state, a different direction what we were seeing for a lot of years. Away from the CT, and now we're back to doing stuff.
Yes,
because they realize people need that.
Absolutely,
that's that education piece of doing things. But speaking of Project Lead the Way, I mean, we just got some good news about the district from Project Lead the Way.
This is the third year in a row that we were certified a distinguished school across the corporation. What's kind of cool about that is it's one of 13 corporations in the nation. So think about all 50 states. We're one of 13 schools that are district certified or distinguished Project Lead the Way. There's only 2 in Indiana. We're one that's done it 3 years in a row. Most of them kind of come on and come off because they don't maintain their criteria of teaching 75% of your elementary students or 25% of your middle school students. It's a little harder to achieve that in the high school just based on we're not quite there yet, and there's a lot more percentage of students that need to take it. But we're getting closer to high school, but because our high school is a junior senior high school, that allows us to be district certified. We're one of 282 schools across the nation for the elementary, and one of 134 the junior high across the nation. So we're actually providing those hands-on technology skills, and Project Lead the Way recognizes that. which is nice, as we can put that out there, and which shows that we're preparing our students for their future. Which is important, because I heard Blair Milo, I think she recently changed job, or they did a reconfiguration, but she's kind of the director of next level careers at the state of Indiana, the secretary there. And I heard her a couple years ago speak. It says that a current kindergartner, about 80% of the jobs that they'll have aren't even thought of yet.
Right.
So we got to continue to push this pace of this STEM and this project lead the way, improving their skills, so that when they do graduate high school, that they have the skills to compete.
Yeah, because I mean, if the student walking into kindergarten, they've got 13 more years
Yes.
in our building, and there's a lot of things that can change in 13 years.
And as tech director, you know that.
Oh,
It's going to change at a quicker pace than ever.
I mean, if my math is right, 2009 was a totally different place than it is
There's
right
no
now.
doubt. Didn't the Apple phone come out in 2007,
Yeah.
8, somewhere in there?
Mm-hmm.
And to think how much that thing has changed the world is crazy.
Absolutely. So I think we really have a lot going on as far as the STEM world. Are there other grants or things that we've done as far as just STEM? I know I've kind of got one more big
Yes,
bullet point
one
here.
more big bullet
but
point.
I don't want to skip over anything as far as the stuff that you've been working on. Is there any other
We'll keep
parts?
trying to look for grants that'll push us forward, so we're able to compete with those larger schools that have more funding than us, obviously, just because they've got a bigger city base and a tax base to pull from. But we'll keep looking for those opportunities and keep trying to push STEM and project-based learning, because I believe the state and the nation, I think, sees that that's where we need to go. And that leads us into the next big bullet point, where we did promote out there, but we did get a $3.3 million grant over 4 years. This first year will be for the planning phase, and then we'll have 3 years to kind of put that plan into place. But as you mentioned earlier, education's kind of taken a back seat, or a step back, I guess I should say, and refocusing on careers. Not just everyone should go to college. It's not saying that once you graduate, you shouldn't go on and get a degree or a certification or some sort of credential. It's just saying we need to find what's best for each individual kid.
Yeah.
And sometimes, and being an ag teacher or a former ag teacher or ag teacher at heart, I understand. I love hands-on learning. And I think today's kids, with the technology that they start in kindergarten with, or even before that, their brain is wired different than ours was wired back in 1988 or then. They learn different. So this grant will help us at the high school provide opportunities where, through hybrid learning that we talked about earlier, and provide more career-based credentials. So when they graduate, they may already have 2 years of college. Some of them's already there close now anyway, because we have those IU classes that we teach and dual credit through Ivy Tech. But this will help increase that and prepare that, maybe through an apprenticeship or something through job shadowing. So when they graduate, they may already have an associate's degree through Ivy Tech, and then be able to maybe go on and get the full 4-year degree through Ivy Tech, or be able to go get a job at a high-paying, high-wage.
Yeah, I know, because I remember I graduated in 2000. It was that it was kind of this you're not going to college. There was kind of that stigma applied to you're not going to college. It just and that's not, that should have never been there.
Right.
And it definitely, we're seeing this kind of push away from the stigma of there's a lot of great, high-paying, very valuable jobs that some credentials or some certifications, you can walk away, you can walk out of high school and do very well. I think some of our graduates from the last year's class walked into some very well-paying, welding, electrician, that sort of thing, some of the trades. And I know that's, I tell my students, it's not, you don't have to go to college, but you need skills.
Yeah, you need skills and some sort of certification. I think people we're not going to send them to college. I don't think that's what we're saying. We need to find what's your interest and how can we get you there and be qualified to get that job. And it may take some additional schooling beyond high school, but we like to do some of that earlier on, so they see a purpose of why they're learning algebra or algebra 2 or calculus. Because I know at times I always had that argument back in 1980, why am I learning this?
Oh yeah.
But if I can find a way to teach them how to, because I taught ag, it's like you got to figure rise over run to do a roof and how many square feet and how many shingles you need. That takes some geometry.
Sure.
So if I can start doing those things earlier with them, and we can put that into project-based and start teaching them that skill, I think that'll bring all their achievement up through school.
Well, and I think understanding why you're learning it and what you're going to use it for definitely helps kind of cement it into in your learning, and you're like, oh, okay, this is important. I need to pay attention. I need to get a hold of this.
Right.
But yeah, and I know that they've shifted, high school to kind of there's pathways now, and I know I've had some parents ask me, what are these pathways and what is this, and that's kind of all part of this same push from the state to careers. But they start pathways pretty early now, right?
They actually start at their freshman year because they have to take an introductory or a first level class and then a couple concentrators, and then they can do a work-based placement. And I'd like to say that I had all the answers, but I know in the 3 years I was principal there that the pathways changed 2 or 3 times. So it continuously changing, and we got to be on top of that. But to be able to provide the ag classes, the computer science classes, the engineering and business, and maybe a healthcare pathway, because I know there's demand for CNAs and all that out there, how we can start that their freshman year and work their way up, so by the time they become a senior, they've got maybe some dual credits, or maybe have an associate's degree, or they have that credential, they can go out and get that job.
Yeah.
And I think they're even shifting base earlier, down even in kindergarten, to how we're going to expose them to career and career exploration, so that maybe they may want to start out as a fireman, because kindergarten didn't want to be a fireman, maybe,
right,
or something like that. But their likes and interests will change. But how can we change and expose them to an array of careers that by the time they get in high school, that they can kind of pick a path they want to go down?
Because I think getting experience with the careers and getting a broad spectrum understanding of what the different options are that are out there. I mean, you see, and we've seen students, they go to college, and 1 or 2 years later they've changed major 3 or 4 times, and then they still aren't sure and veer off and end up with some debt, and they're still not sure what they're doing. And so anything we can do, I think, that'll help avoid that particular problem is huge.
Yeah.
Well, Neal, that's a ton of funding. I mean, obviously that last one, that $3.3 million is big. I had the opportunity to be at the board meeting when we accepted all those grants, and that's huge. And what that's going to be able to do for Randolph Eastern for the next 4 years is amazing. And now this is my understanding right? We're the only one in the county that got this?
We're the only one in the county, and I'll quote you here. There was 55 schools that applied, 40 districts. We were one of the 8 that got it. So it was a highly competitive grant, and I think there was a combination of West Dell, Lincoln or Western Wayne, and Washington schools down south that kind of went together to form one co-op for the grant. But we're probably the next closest one to us is Indianapolis or maybe Warsaw up north. So in East Central Indiana, we're hitting the mark again.
That's fantastic. I know, we there's always stuff going on, and it's, as we've the last handful of years, we're always pushing to and I know some people are probably tired of pushing forward, but we got to keep moving and keep moving ahead, because like you said, that kindergarten walking in the door in August, that job doesn't exist that they're going to be looking for. Chances are.
I think I heard once or someone speak, it's like the great thing is technology continues to change. The scary part is it's as slow as it's ever going to be today, because it's going to continue to grow and gain legs. And it used to be it took a year for things to change. Now it's down to who knows 6 months or even less than that things change. So
just in the computer science development world, they're pushing to make changes just daily.
Right.
Smaller changes, but just continue, just a continuous update. It is an interesting world. But so we've got we've got all these grants, and I know we talk about that. But as far as keeping up with Randolph Eastern and watching for the neat stuff, because I know you've got stuff that you're applying for as we speak. I mean, nothing we want to probably talk about unless there's something you want to say that I don't know about.
No, I think we're good right now.
But I know you're always reaching out there trying to find something new, and even in lots of different areas. I know we've got some. Just grants that focus on different areas, whether that's health or phys ed and just playgrounds, everything. There's lots of stuff out there. But as far as keeping track of what the school has going on, I know it's Facebook, Randolph Eastern School Corporation. Twitter is a pretty quick way to get information. That's is it at Randolph Eastern?
At Randolph Eastern, yeah.
And then I definitely our website, which is www.resc.k12.in.us.
Or even K.I.S.S TV, a mini
Right
folder,
here.
YouTube, or live stream page, and they do a lot of highlighting of the school as well, so that's good.
And everybody's always welcome to stop by and check things out.
Yeah.
And Neal, I'm excited for everything we've got going on here. I know it's going to be a ton of work. We've talked off camera that there's a lot of paperwork with all this,
there
and
is
so
a lot.
your job is very, very busy.
Yes.
It might be a quiet front for a while until something big happens, but I know you're always in there filling out forms and trying to keep track of all this funding.
A lot of documentation that when you get money, people want to know where you're spending it and how it's spent, so you've got to keep track of all that.
Sure.
But that's a good problem to have.
So I'm excited for everything we got going on, and I'm excited for the next time you're going to be on Cable Chatter with me, telling me about all the new other grants that we've got. That last one's going to be a little hard to top.
That's going to be hard to top. But we'll continue to look for them.
Awesome. Well, Neal, thanks again for coming on, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Appreciate it.
Thanks.